time for another Ask Me Anything video, and today I'm answering a question from a survivor of narcissistic abuse who wants to know, can someone become a narcissist later in life, or do they have to be born that way? Is there such a thing as a narcissistic midlife crisis? That's exactly what we're talking about today at queenbeing.com. So let's get started.
Closed captioning provided by Athena Moberg and cptsdfoundation.org.
My name's Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. So I think it's important, first of all, to define what is a midlife crisis. A midlife crisis is simply a time in a person's life where they begin to sort of recognize and struggle with their own mortality. Obviously, this can happen to anyone, and narcissists are not the only ones this happens to. So just because someone's having a midlife crisis doesn't make them a narcissist. But in general, the way that it works is somewhere where they call midlife, which I've seen defined anywhere from age 40 and up. People tend to kind of let go of some of their personal responsibilities or some of the things that they feel are kind of holding them down, and they kind of try to have more fun because they figure life's short, why not? And that's why typically the term midlife crisis brings up images of older people driving fancy cars or dating younger people, things like that. But for healthier people, midlife crisis doesn't have to mean that you feel miserable and terrible and you wish you were young again. It could mean some really positive changes in your life. Interestingly enough, studies show that midlife crises are not necessarily a global thing, and that they may be a societal construct. Researchers say it might just be the belief that you're supposed to have a midlife crisis in your 40s that causes you to actually have one. There was a national survey done in the United States a while back, and they found just over a quarter of adults admit to having a midlife crisis. And most of those adults say that their midlife crisis was triggered by a major event rather than age. Events like divorce, job loss, loss of a loved one, or moving to a different area. That's the skinny on what a midlife crisis is in general. With that being said, if you'd like me to talk more about how to work through that as a healthier person or an empath, let me know that in the comments below. But for right now, we're going to switch over and talk about narcissists and their midlife crises. Of course, we know that there are no actual links between our physiology and the midlife crisis, as it were, and as we just discussed, it's kind of a social construct. Here's the thing about the narcissist. In general, they tend to lack satisfaction in their life. They tend to find themselves feeling like they don't have enough, they need more, they need more, they need more. You know the deal. They're not satisfied with their life, they're not satisfied with their spouse, their car, their house, their job. Nothing's ever good enough, is it? Well, around the time they get to be middle age, as they say, they start to notice that they haven't done all the things they wanted to do. They realize they're not going to get another chance to do those things. They think they have nothing to look forward to anymore. They feel trapped and bored. They feel like they've given too much of themselves and haven't gotten enough back from life. Like I said, healthier people tend to make new goals for themselves. They try new things. They switch it up. They feel better. They kind of reinvent themselves. Narcissists, on the other hand, they just kind of get mean, bitter. A lot of times they drink more. They work more. They just kind of space out. They abandon you emotionally, physically, or otherwise. They lay around and do nothing. It depends on the person. The thing is, narcissists kind of always feel like they're special. They need something different. They need better, and they need to have more attention than everybody else. They think they're entitled to it. The more experiences they have that reinforce those beliefs, the more people who are attracted to them, the more their charisma comes out, all of these things, well, they can get kind of used to being the center of everything. And then something happens, like they have a child or a grandchild, or somebody else in the office gets a promotion. Suddenly nobody's paying attention to them anymore. They're paying attention to other people, other situations in their lives, and the narcissist kind of has a meltdown. Does it ever end? Do the narcissist's games ever stop? And what is a true sign of recovery on their part? Is it just an impossibility? Can the narcissist change? Do they change as they get older? And will the games ever stop? Narcissists, a lot of times, make you feel like you just can't touch them. And what I mean by that is they seem like they go through life unscathed. They break hearts, they ruin lives, they leave a trail of destruction everywhere they go. They are the living embodiment of chaos in some cases, or the extreme opposite of that, excessive order in other cases. But all of them leave a big wake of heartache behind them. They don't have any remorse. Nothing seems to be able to stop them from emotionally devastating and, in other ways, ruining the people closest to them. But there is such a thing as the narcissistic collapse, and that's when the narcissist is no longer able to hold on to the false self. Their false self is kind of laid out there for everyone to see, and the real self sort of comes through because there's no more barrier. There's no more space between the two. Maybe that's because they've pushed everyone else away. Maybe that's because they don't have anyone else admiring them or whatever. And maybe it's just because people realized who they were, but now they find themselves alone. And that is when it's very difficult for family members who are still stuck around to deal with them. This is when the collapse happens, when everybody around the narcissist starts to wake up. If you want to learn more about aging narcissists, make sure you take a look at the video I'm leaving for you right there, and it will give you so much more information about this. All right, now this brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, have you ever experienced a narcissist going through a midlife crisis, and what was that like for you? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Now, before I go, I want to give a quick shout out to every single one of my subscribers, everyone who comments on my videos, shares my videos, likes my videos. Thank you so much. You are helping me to reach more people, to help them to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships, and that means the world to me. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And while I'm here, I want to offer a quick shout out to my amazing channel members, those people who support me through the YouTube channel membership program. Their contributions help me to continue to offer free resources for survivors of narcissistic abuse through this YouTube channel, through queenbeing.com, and through many other sources. So again, thank you so much, Inner Circle. My Inner Circle includes Jessica, Lori, Jonathan, Abraham, Shannon, Kristen, Jill, OG Marv, Beautiful Purpose, Dawn Elizabeth, Roseanne, Shauna, Michael John, Julie, Mental Hilarity, Lou, Missy, Deborah, Denise, Stephanie, Tiffany, Nessa, Marsha, Stacy, Boku, Trisha, Kimberly, Thoy, Victoria, Patty, Carrie Ann, Ashley, Chantel, La Precious, Steph, Dana, Mo Cowboy, Shay, Christina, Ray Ray, Christy, Alda, Smith & Wesson, Ms. Lisa, Martha, Freedom Lee, Mindy, Lynn, Linnell, Phoenix, Cherie, Alice, Carrie, Angel, Bible News Radio, Linda, Charlie, Laura, Pierre Lala, Janet, Paul, Sarah Lee, Marlene, James, Life's Revival, Lorenzo, Deborah, Roxanne, and my very first supporter, Angela Falsetta. Again, I just want to say to my Inner Circle, thank you so much for hitting that join button. It really does mean a lot to me to know that you're supporting me. Thanks again from the bottom of my heart. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. All right, now that's all I've got for you. But before I go, take a look at the videos I'm leaving for you right there and right there. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue on this healing journey together. I'll see you soon.